Hello and welcome to Your Song Within, inspiration stories from women around the world. Your Song Within is a conscious aware community for women who seek inspiration or have a desire to inspire each other and their world. And today's inspiration is about passion and purpose. And I'm super excited to be able to introduce to you shortly it's some inspiration that comes from a woman who has inspired many, and her name is Maharani, and she's the author of her new book called Whole Ass. And without further ado, let's introduce Maharani to today's session. Welcome, Maharani. Welcome to Your Song Within. I'm so pleased to have you join us today.
Thank you, Lorna. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very excited.
And you know, today's theme, as I mentioned, is about passion and purpose. And you know, what I find inspirational is your passion with life. You know, the passion that you share with so many, and that's really expressed throughout your book, which is what we're also here to talk about today. But before you tell us more about your amazing book and the spectacular title that is called Whole Ass, and I love it when you say whole ass, you say it a lot better than I do. Tell us more about who you are and where you're from, and actually being a monk as well.
Yes, well, my name is Maharani. I am from Mexico originally. I've lived in different countries. I've lived in Canada, I've lived in Spain, and I currently live in Spain again. But right now I'm in Mexico. That's why I look like I've come from the summer camp. So I'm an Ishaya Monk, as you say, and it's a little weird sometimes when I say I'm a monk, because I don't feel like I look like a monk. And if you see me actually talking and interacting, I less look like a monk because I'm loud and I'm like very kind of intense in a way. But I am a monk. I've been a monk for 10 years, which means that I committed my life to increase consciousness in myself and in the world, however that looks. And it's like a very, very rewarding path because it gives you, or it gave me, the anchor where to kind of live from every moment, you know, which is from consciousness and from the silence within, which makes a very, very enjoyable life most of the time. And I love also helping people that are hungry for peace, or hungry for more, or hungry for what's the deal with life, you know, and I get a chance to share in that way, and it's very, very lovely.
And it's an amazing you know, thing that you share, you know, to have this you know, way of life as a monk, you know, and to be able to inspire others through your service to the world as a monk. And what made you, you know, why did you become a monk? What was it that the reason, or something that, you know, how did you become a monk?
Well, I didn't want to become a monk, I'll tell you that much. I was searching. I was searching since I remember. You know, I remember being 15, having a coffee with my father, saying, he was like, well, what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to study? You need to pick, you know, he's being the father and I being the teenager. And I'm just keep saying, I need to know who I am. I need to find myself first. And, you know, he would be like, go get to work. People that are busy are not having time to think about who they are. But I had this urging thing since I was very small, like tiny of age, that why is the purpose of life? Why am I here? It didn't just make a lot of sense, the way humans lived, and the way we were all just told this life was not meant to be kind of super happy or full all the time. So I searched, and I searched a lot. I went through a lot of paths and healing techniques and different modalities, and some were beautiful but didn't reach to my core of like, yeah, but this is the absolute truth. And some were even a bit kind of dodgy or dangerous, which I'm really glad I didn't kind of stay there, you know. um and then I was invited to this course, and I went to this Ishaya course, and it was just a meditation technique at the beginning, which I went reluctantly because I didn't really like meditation. I felt, or I thought, meditation wasn't such a easy for me. You know, I don't like to sit still. I like to be active. I don't want to. And so the way this meditation worked, and I'm sure you know, Lorna, because you practice it too, it's that it was really simple. I didn't have to change anything of who I was. I didn't have to try to sit up straight. I didn't have to. I just needed to practice these techniques, and life started changing. And I started realizing, because I've been very blessed all my life, and I'm incredibly blessed. I've had an easy life, great parents, not struggle in any way. You know, I've had opportunities to live wherever I want, and still I wasn't happy, you know, and I felt like a brat because why am I unhappy? I have everything I need, and I'm always making up problems. But my biggest discovery was like realizing that the biggest enemy, if you want to put such a strong word, is the mind. It was my own mind, my own thoughts, my own train of thoughts. Whatever my mind was telling me, I was reacting within it, in my emotions, in my body. So this technique gave me this ability to start detaching from these thoughts, and within that there was peace and joy and freedom. Um, so after maybe 4 or 5 years of practicing, I wanted more. So I went to this retreat, 6-month retreat, to dive in more, because I wanted to do it quickly, you know. If I want to overcome the mind, I'm just going to do it quickly. Why would I wait? And in that path, and I had the desire to become a monk and to devote my life to this, because I found in my own experience that it gave me the piece of the puzzle that it was always missing from my experience.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, it's interesting, you know, today's theme is all about passion and purpose. And in my experience, I've talked to a number of women who from different life backgrounds, and talked about their passion and purpose and what they thought that was. And I became curious as to what they were passionate about, and did they feel that they had purpose in life. And there was a correlation between the passion and purpose for them, and whether it was one of the same thing or for them, or whether it was different. They shared their different stories, and so they were all different ages, and they gave their version of what they thought was they were passionate about, which actually turned out to be what their life purpose was, whether it was their profession, whether it was their hobby, or what they dedicated their life to, whether it was being a great wife, a great mom, aunt, sister. They gave them a sense of purpose. And most of them mentioned, well, nearly all of them mentioned that once this role, their life, had become an end, or changed, or there was a challenge with that, and they had to move away from the role, they actually felt quite lost in life, and they lost that passion with life because of who they thought they were in that role. And you know, they were also unsure of, you know, what the real passions were, so they lost, I guess, themselves in some of that, you know, in that process. So, you know, it was interesting to see that, because, you know, for me, and my belief is that if we let go of the thinking of you know, there's only one purpose for us, and embrace the idea that, you know, our purpose in life is to love life fully, you know, by putting ourselves wholly into our lives. And I think that with, you know, with what you're writing about, the whole book that you're, you know, that tells the story really about, I guess it's all about living fully in, and there you find your purpose and your passion. Is it that?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you're saying, because I've had that too. You know, I spent a lot of years trying to find my thing, my purpose, my one passion, and I turn now, because I'm multi-passionate. I have passion for many things, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. And I was like, well, which one is it? And I was trying to create my life around this passion that I needed to find. Um, and and I love what you said, Lorna, about like when sometimes that activity is stripped from you, then you feel you lost a part of yourself, or you don't have that juice anymore. And in the book I do make that distinction between the activities, you know, you do which are that make you passionate, which is amazing, but it doesn't have to be the only source for being passionate with life. Because as we know right now, especially if somebody's hearing this in 2025, this is 2020, and we're going through this worldwide pandemic where most of the world is in lockdown. And this has shown us that our life can change quickly. You know, our activities can be stripped away. What you thought you had under control, then suddenly you're not under control. And that's when being rooted inside helps. Because to me, passion for life is this willingness to embrace whatever comes to you, and embrace it with the best attitude, with the best joy you can, and give back to whatever has been presented to you, right? So for me, the passion for life is kind of recognizing that you're not in control of what's been laid out in front of you. You know, a few years ago, I had to stop my life for a few months because my mother was really ill. And all my days were go to the hospital, wait, you know, go to the apartment, help her, feed her, hospital again. That was my life. And I'll tell you, I was not doing any of the things that caused me passion at all. But I found tremendous like strength and different abilities and a different type of passion that because you got to do that, right? You got to embrace whatever's in front of you and give whatever there is back passionately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, for me now, it's the only way, you know. And you're so right about that external way of passion. It's not always about the external thing that creates your passion, you know. Life challenges come and they go. So yeah, it's important to not put yourself out there and measure your passion about life when life changes in front of you. So yeah, I love your chapter on, as we're talking about passion, I love your chapter 5 on passion, actually. And I love all the chapters. I'm just like, I got to keep dipping into it because it's just so great. But because we're talking about purpose and passion today, you know, that your chapter on passion, and I love the quotes that you've got threaded in amongst your beautiful chapter. One of them I really love, and it's really sort of, you know, sort of correlates to what this community is about your song within, about women, or women particularly, who have an expression that they wish to get out into the world, and to be given a platform, or, you know, to be inspired to sing out from their hearts. And I love one of your, and it's got big capital letters in your book, and it says, everyone's heart sings for something. And I so love that. I really do. And there's another quote. I mean, there's so many in there. There's so many gems in there about passion. The one from Maharishi Krishnananda Ishaya quoted, "Passion directed towards truth heals the world. And, you know, that's one of our premises here with this community, that women who are looking to, maybe looking to become more consciously aware in their world, or who are already consciously aware but want more of us to be more consciously aware, to create a better world. And I think that's what your amazing title of your book, which is what we're here to talk about. So tell us, you know, your book, you have, your title is Whole Ass, and it's a great title. So tell us about the title, because it's a spectacular title.
Well, I just stole that title from somebody else. So, I mean, it was just, as I guess many things in life, a series of events that led me to, sorry, hold on. Are you okay, hon? Yes, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, making a little noise. Sorry, yeah, we're like in a little room right here. Huh? Maybe you can get it downstairs, probably. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the title was, it was this random day, and I was talking to my teacher, which is, you mentioned him before, Maharishi Krishnananda, and I was struggling with two very big things in my life, you know, as I mentioned, like my mother's illness, and I was also going through a very, very rough patch with my relationship, which we had been together for 4 years, so it was like an important relationship, and I didn't know, like, you know, I felt torn, like what do I pay attention to? Do I break up? Do I do this? And he said, never half-ass two things, whole ass one thing. And I just laughed, you know, because I've always heard the term half-ass, but I've never ever heard the term whole ass. And later that day, like coincidentally, I was watching this TV show, and that I love. It's an American show, so I don't know if this is the proper channels, but it's a show called Parks and Recreation, and this guy in the show, it's a comedy show, he said the same line, you know. It was about other stuff, but I realized my teacher had read it somewhere online, and it was a quote from this guy, but I thought it was so funny that the same day I heard it twice. And that was the start. That was the start of it. And it kept growing in me because I've always, in my life, I felt like I was too much. And I don't know if anybody here can relate to that, but like I'm too much emotion, too much head, too much. Nobody can handle me, you know. I'm a too much girl. And I always try to tone myself down to adapt, you know, to fit in, to be like normal. And this whole last approach showed me that I wasn't too much, you know, like I had an ability to give all that I had towards life. And that if I had too much energy and too much things going on with me, it's because I had a bigger range to give back to. And by trying to make myself small, then I was kind of bubbling up all the energy, right? And so I've always written. It's not like, oh, I want to write a book now. You know, I've always been my passion to write. I studied Spanish literature and English, and I've taken like a lot of creative writing workshops. So I've always wanted to be a writer. And then this came up, you know.
Yeah, beautiful. And what a great, well, you know, it's a great inspirational book, I'm finding. And it's interesting that, you know, it really starts to put some fuel behind maybe some things that you've forgotten about. You know, it reminds us of, you know, when we were a small girl, you know, a small child. You know, what did we really get excited about? What were we passionate about? And, you know, I've just only recently reminded myself, you know, there was this common theme throughout my life, to find out what my true purpose is in this world, you know. So it's never too late to find it. And I think people, and the audience today are women that are joining us, that will find inspiration to find their passion and purpose, you know, by reading a beautiful book. And so it's a super exciting time. Oh, actually, I wanted to just touch on briefly, just for a few moments, you know, we're just coming towards the end here of these. It's a really fun section in your book about different archetypes. Is it? You've got a directory, an artist directory. Can you tell us a couple of or a few different artists? You know, I find it's a really great section of the book.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, it's called the Access Directory, and it's in the beginning of the book because it's an attempt to highlight the things we do to sabotage ourselves, or the aspects that we're probably half-assing in our life, and we don't even know we're half-assing because we're so identified with that personality type. So there's like I don't remember. There's a lot, like 18 types or something like that. And so we have like I don't know, Lorna, which one are you? Do you know?
Oh, well, I could see myself in a few, but there was one that really stood out, which it used to be was the New Age ass.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, so there was this spiritual, you know, way I had to be, you know, it was this whole spiritual thing. I can't be in this life because I've got to be spiritual. So yeah, I certainly love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the types. It's New Age ass, which, you know, Lorna described it perfectly. It's all about like the things we stop ourselves doing or we justify of giving back to life because we are spiritual or we have to be spiritual. And from that, there's like there's the smart ass, which is the person that has a lot of excuses and responses. So to justify why they're not doing something or they're not embracing an aspect of their life, right? Which I can totally identify with that. Because the mind can be so clever that you give such elaborate excuses that the world believes you, but it's not really true. You know, you're just resisting inside. There's I don't know, lazy ass, which is procrastination. You know, moody ass, which is like we're always dependent on our emotions. Like, and I can totally relate to that one too. I feel great, I give everything. Oh, I woke up feeling like crap. Oh, I'm not gonna give anything because I don't feel like it. And in that sense, we stop. We're not engaging with life because we're making our emotions more important than what life is presenting us, right? And there's many, like there's wise ass and I can't remember right now.
Yes, there is a lot of them.
Yeah, like I love the drama queen ass because obviously that reminds me of myself in the past, which is what about me? You know, oh, there's a pandemic in the world, but what about me? How is this affecting me? Or even like in little things, you know, so like with people, like somebody says something and you make it about yourself. And then you go, well, I'm not going to give back because they said this about me. So it's just a fun way of highlighting aspects of ourselves that we use to not love life fully and not engage with life fully. Because it's been my experience that sometimes, you know, as you say, we waste so much time trying to find our passion outside. Or we waste so much time trying to create a life that it's good enough and beautiful enough, and then I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
And the invitation with the book is seeing it in a different light, which is no, you develop this constant love for life and love life as it is, and then you feel fueled with passion and fueled with purpose and fueled with you know, greatness.
Absolutely, that's so beautiful, and that is exactly it. So yeah, you know, just coming to wrap this lovely session. Thank you, Maharani. It's been amazing. And that, you know, it's a super exciting time to, you know, we're noticing with this situation we currently have in 2020, you know, that it's creating more creation and kindness and love and purpose for people. Actually, we're moving into that, and it's different for everybody. But, you know, I think it's a great time. It is a great time for the book. And it has just launched. Just tell people it's available as an ebook at the moment. And then it's coming out as paperback shortly?
Yeah. Right now it's available as an ebook and Kindle version, so you can get it in all the usual online retailers like Amazon or Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, etc. I'm not sure Waterstones. I think they will only carry the paperback, but and then the paperback version comes out on September 1st. And that was not my doing. That was just the world situation, and that was what I was required from me. But I really wanted to put it out because I truly believe right now it can help. It can help people, and that's just my hope, that it reaches as many people as possible, so they can get some juice to learn to live life in a different way.
Absolutely. Well, oh, and also, that if people are interested in watching this and, they've heard about you, Monk life, how they can reach out to the BrightPath.
Yes, they can reach out to the BrightPath.com. That's like the organization where all the monks belong to, and that's how we teach this meditation course I was telling you about. And we're all around the world. It's like 600 and plus of Ishaya monks, and we're happy to help and love to help and share whatever our experience is. And my personal page is maharanimonk.com, which then it will lead you to the BrightPath anyway. And then you can, I write blogs and you could read about me or whatever if you're interested.
I'm sure there'll be many. Well, Maharani, thank you once again for coming to share your inspiration here at the community of Your Song Within. So thank you today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Lorna. And it's a beautiful project, and thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to come back anytime.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.